I stopped loving you long ago. I only married you because of the babies. That's what my husband said. Not in anger, not in a fight, but in the middle of the night, while he was drunk. While I was standing right there, listening. And in that moment, my entire world shattered into pieces I could never put back together again. My name is Demi, and I used to believe in forever. Brandon and I were high school sweethearts, the kind of couple people admired, the kind that made others believe in love. We grew up together. We laughed together. We dreamed together. He used to look at me like I was his entire world. Back then, I never imagined a life without him. But life doesn't always follow the promises we make when we're young. After high school, we both went to college. That's when things slowly began to change. He met new people, new friends, new experiences. And then there was her, Jess. She was everything I wasn't at that time. Bold, carefree, exciting. She laughed loudly, touched his arm when she talked, leaned in a little too close. She knew about me. She knew he had a girlfriend, but that didn't stop her from flirting with him, and it didn't stop him from enjoying it. I didn't know all of this then. I just felt the distance. The late replies, the shorter calls, the "I'm busy" texts. I asked him once, "Are we okay?" He smiled and said, "Of course we are." And I believed him, because when you love someone deeply, you trust them blindly. What I didn't know was that Brandon had already made a decision. He was going to leave me. He thought he had outgrown me, outgrown us. He wanted Jess the day he planned to break up with me. I told him I was pregnant with twins, a boy and a girl. I still remember his face. Shock, fear, silence. He didn't leave. Instead, he stayed, and he married me. At that time, I thought it was love. Now, I know. It was responsibility. We got married young, two babies, no stable careers, no real plan, just survival. But when Gabriel and Gabby were born, I thought everything would be okay. Because how could love not grow in a home filled with children? I thought we were happy. I really did. I woke up every night to feed the babies. I cooked, I cleaned. I tried to be the best wife I could be, and he was there. But not really. He loved the children. I could see that. But with me, there was a distance I couldn't explain. Still, I told myself, marriage is hard. Love takes time. He'll come back to me. I kept holding on to a love that had already slipped away. Then came that night, the night that changed everything. He came home late, drunk. I could smell the alcohol the moment he walked in. I rushed to support him so he wouldn't wake the babies. "Careful," I whispered. He laughed. Then suddenly, he looked at me and said, "You know I stopped loving you a long time ago, right?" My heart stopped. "What?" I whispered. "I was going to leave you," he slurred. I wanted Jess. I had feelings for her. I thought she was the one for me. Each word felt like a knife. "But then you said you were pregnant." He chuckled weakly. "So I married you. For the babies. For the babies. Not for me. Never for me." I kept thinking about what life would be like with Jess. He murmured before collapsing onto the bed. And just like that, he fell asleep. But I didn't. I stood there, broken, silent, destroyed. That night, I didn't scream. I didn't wake him up. I didn't cry out loud. I just sat on the floor, holding my chest, trying to breathe through the pain, because the man I loved had just confessed that I was never his choice. By morning, I had made my decision. I would leave. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. Because I deserved to be loved, truly loved. I contacted a lawyer in secret, started drafting the divorce agreement, and the next day, I acted normal. I smiled. I cooked. I spoke to him gently. He didn't remember anything, not a single word. He thought everything was fine. Little did he know. I was already planning my exit, but the hardest decision wasn't leaving him. It was the children. We were still young, no stable jobs, no financial security. I couldn't take both twins with me, not yet, and that decision destroyed me. How does a mother choose? After days of crying, thinking, breaking, I made the most painful choice of my life. I would take Gabriel with me and leave Gabby with her father, because despite everything, I knew one thing. Brandon loved his children, and Gabby adored him. She always reached for him, always called Daddy with so much joy. So I trusted that he would take care of her, at least that much. The divorce papers were ready within a week. That night, I signed them, placed them beside his bed, along with my wedding ring and a letter. In that letter, I told him everything, that he confessed, that I remembered every word, that I was sorry he felt trapped, and that I was setting him free. I asked him to love Gabby, to take care of her, and promised I would come back for her one day. That night, I held Gabby close, kissed her forehead again and again. "I'll come back for you," I whispered through tears. Then I picked up Gabriel and walked out of that house, in the middle of the night, without looking back, because I knew, if I did, I wouldn't have the strength to leave. The next morning, he found everything, the papers, the ring, the letter, and just like that, his world collapsed. He called me, again, and again, and again. Voicemails filled with apologies, regret, desperation, but I didn't answer, because some words, once spoken, can never be taken back. Years passed, 5 years. I worked hard, built a life from nothing, and became someone stronger. Meanwhile, he raised Gabby alone, and every day, he was reminded of me. She would ask, "Where's Mommy?" And he never knew what to say. That was his punishment, living with the truth. 5 years later, I went back for Gabby. I was finally stable, finally ready. That's when I saw him again. Brandon. He looked different, broken, tired, regretful. When he saw me, he broke down. "I'm sorry," he cried. "I was stupid. I didn't know what I had. I love you. I still love you." I looked at him and felt something I never expected. "Peace. I forgive you," I said softly. Hope filled his eyes, but I continued. "But I'm not coming back." Because in those 5 years, I had learned something important. Love is not obligation. Love is not guilt. Love is a choice, and I deserved someone who chose me. That's when I introduced him to Jack, the man who stood beside me, the man who loved me for who I was, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Brandon's face fell, and in that moment, he understood everything. Too late. He tried to win me back, begged, apologized, promised. But I had already moved on, not because I stopped loving him, but because I started loving myself more. Eventually, I married Jack, and together, we built a life filled with real love, stable, peaceful, whole. He loved my children like his own, and for the first time in my life, I felt chosen, every single day. As for Brandon, he watched from a distance, living with regret, holding on to a love he once had but didn't value. And that's the thing about love. Sometimes, you don't lose it because it wasn't real. You lose it because you didn't appreciate it when you had it.